Welcome again, everyone, to the channel. Welcome again to me. I have not been posting content, as some of you have pointed out in the comments section. You've been saying, keep making content, and first of all, thank you. I really appreciate that. I've been having some shifts and changes myself happening, things that I'm going to be sharing with this channel shortly. And so stay tuned, there are more videos coming, including this one. So I recently got a chance to talk to Duff McGee. Duff is a fantastic neurolinguistic programmer. He's one of those people that I could have no hesitation referring clients to. And one of the reasons for that, I mean, first of all, mentored very closely with Steve Andreas, spent a lot of time in the Andreas camp. We did a master practitioner together at the HNLP family. And Duff is one of these guys who, to me, really embodies a lot of the key presuppositions of NLP, increasing flexibility. He's always learning, and he's not locked into his approach, per se. He's very much a student of the game. So I had an hour and a half Zoom with him, and I know that most of us don't have the appetite for an hour and a half Zoom conversation, podcast style. So what I've done is I've broken that conversation, I've cut it up into shorter segments. And so there's going to be about 5 to 7 of those segments that I'll be releasing over the next either couple of days or couple of weeks. Today's segment is on Duff's approach to goal setting. And I really wanted to talk to him about this in particular because I watched as he started posting more on social media, and it was like the third or fourth week, somewhere around there, where I was like, okay, this guy gets it. This guy is approaching his social media in a way that is going to allow him to grow, in a way that's going to allow him to blow up. And sure enough, we did see his TikTok start to blow up, and it's really interesting how he's moving away from, not entirely, and you'll hear it in his own words here in a moment, but our traditional approach to goal setting, where in SMART goals, right, or the traditional goal setting approach, we're going to tell you to create a very, very specific target. And in this 10-minute clip, Duff talks about how having such a specific, rigid target can be great in some contexts, but also limit you in others. So enjoy this 10-minute clip here. In the next video that I'm going to release, we go into fear of failure. So make sure you've liked, comment, subscribed. If you want to book a discovery call with me for private coaching, you can find the link below. And I've also linked Duff's social media so that you can get in touch with him or follow him wherever he is online. Enjoy. Sure, I get your perspective on goal setting, and in particular, longer, bigger, complex projects. A, because I'm fascinated to get your take on it. B, because I've been grappling with this myself with my business projects, with the NLP toolkit, the skills that I still am learning and mastering and all that. So I would love to explore that.
Yes. Okay. So I recently did a goal setting workshop that I offered for free. It's on YouTube. It's unlisted, but we could link it in the comments too. But so my take is this. Most people who say start a New Year's resolution or set a goal, they fail at that New Year's resolution or goal about a year later in terms of research. Why is that? I don't think that's because human beings are badly designed. I think it's because of our mental model about how goals work. In particular, the sort of naive goal model that we all start with, it goes something like this. You set a goal, you decide what you want. You create a plan for achieving that goal. You execute the plan and you get the results. And that's just how life works, right? Right. Maybe not, right? Usually what happens is we create a goal that's maybe overly specific because that's what everyone says to do. Create a very specific goal. And then we create a plan. We start doing some stuff and the plan makes no sense. The goal might be even kind of in the wrong ballpark. We get confused. We get lost in the weeds. We don't know what's happening. Maybe we quit. Maybe we feel like something's wrong with us, or we try things and it doesn't work right away. If we're successful, we persist. We try other things. We run a bunch of experiments. We learn a lot. We go, oh man, I really didn't know what I was doing, but that's okay. And then we figure it out. And eventually we get to a goal that might even be better than we originally attempted or thought we were going to get.
Yep.
So life is more organic and messy than this basic idea, which I call the naive goal model. And I think SMART goals, smart, specific, measurable, realistic, or relevant, attainable, timely, whatever the name is, that those 5 criteria, I think those don't apply to most goals. That is mostly for things you've done before that you know a lot about, and it's kind of short term. Like if you've I don't know, created 50 websites and you're going to create website number 51, you can create a SMART goal. You can say exactly what it's going to be and when you're going to be done with it and so on. That makes sense. If you've never built a website before in your life, you're doing it for the first time. You don't even know what should be on the website. Let's be honest. You don't know what you're doing. You don't
Yeah.
even know like what platform to use.
Yeah.
So I think for most people, when they're doing something totally new or relatively new, the goal should be fairly vague. It should be like for me, the goal is like start a coaching group. That was the goal. And it got a little bit more specific over time, but it's still kind of evolving. I have the coaching group. I started it last week. I have 9 people in it. I don't know. I don't know where it's going. It's evolving. And I straight up told people that. I'm like, this is experimental. Like,
Yes.
we're going to be trying things. It's going to be evolving over time. Uh, yeah.
Well, what's beautiful about that is that if you insist on a specific outcome, then what you're not doing is appreciating what's arriving in the field. And you're not
Exactly.
utilizing what's arriving in the field. And so
Exactly.
yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. So like one of my goals long term is I want to I want to have a coaching group that pays my bills. Like the group itself, like 1 or 2 hours a week, and
Yeah.
I'm making enough money to do my thing. But to get there, I have no idea how I'm going to get there. No idea. But I know if I put myself out there in various ways, I'll make connections with other people, and those connections will lead to unexpected opportunities. And I'm working on a book, and maybe that will go somewhere, or maybe it won't. But like,
Sure.
um, if I throw enough things out there, something will emerge organically. That's something I can't even predict. So having the goal be a little bit vague and but exciting is
Yeah.
enough. And then the plan, instead of having a plan, like so many people over plan, especially smart creative people, my target niche.
Yeah.
We create this detailed plan. I've done this a million times. Create a detailed plan of all the things I'm going to do, and I'm going to do this and this, and if this happens, I'll do that. What a waste of time. As soon as you start doing something, you're like, oh, none of that makes any sense. That was all based on conjectures and assumptions.
Yeah.
And now I'm actually doing something. I'm like, oh, like, okay. You have to let go of that plan. So the more detailed the plan, the harder it is to let go of it and throw it in the trash. Because like, I spent 100 hours on that business plan.
Yeah.
My friends and I started in my 20s. We had a startup. We had a podcasting startup before anyone knew what a podcast was. The iPhone came out when we are in the middle of this business. First iPhone. So we were too early to market, but we spent weeks creating 100-page business plan. It was so brilliant. Such a brilliant business plan about how we're going to scale up and make all this money. And we convinced somebody to give us money, a friend's parent. And we ran this business into the ground as fast as possible. We spent all their money and made no money at all. And that's so common. Like that, it's so common in Silicon Valley now. Some people are like, don't write a business plan. Don't even bother. You're just wasting your time. What you should go out there and do is create a minimal viable product, a tiny little thing that you can try to sell today to anyone for $5 and see if anyone will buy it. Even if you don't have an app, like some people will be like, you're going to create an app. Don't create an app. Just manually do everything at first and see if anyone wants to pay you money.
Yeah. For sure.
Totally different approach. But this is the approach I take to goals now. It's like, instead of creating a detailed plan, just start doing something that's kind of a very, very, very rough prototype of the thing and see where it goes. Like make a shitty TikTok video every day for 3 months and see where that goes. Don't make an app, make a form and charge $5 to use the form, and it provides some service because you're manually in the background, like processing what comes out of the form. And just see if people want it. Call people up, like you're saying, that people won't make the phone calls. Just make the phone calls, and then see if people respond to your pitch. If they don't, iterate and improve your pitch
Yeah.
until people are like, ooh, I want to
Yes.
talk with you.
100%.
And think of the first 1,000 calls as just practice calls, just warm-ups. The first 1,000 YouTube videos or TikTok videos is just like, these are just garbage. I'm going to throw in the trash. But
And they might be.
And they
that's
might be. And that's okay. Or you might get 1.6 million views out of one of them that you just make in the park one day, like I did.
Yeah.
So you don't know. But that's the thing. You don't know what's going to work until you try stuff. So you try stuff in order to get information to see where you should go. So it's more like you hop on the bike and then you start steering. You don't plan out how you're going to steer before you hop on the bike.
I agree.
So a totally different approach. And there's a whole field that's already developed for doing this. It's called design thinking.
Okay. Interesting.
And design thinking is the process of designing novel solutions to problems that never been solved before. That's how I define it.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a solution to a problem, it's like the RTM process. You already have a solution. You can just apply the RTM method.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have a completely new problem, how do you come up with a solution for it? Well, you got to get creative. And that's what the design thinking process is. People use this every day in graphic design, industrial design, architecture, user experience design, and so on, because they have a new thing that they're designing. Mm-hmm. So there's 5 phases to design thinking. You empathize with the user, the end user, whatever that is. Mm-hmm. That could be yourself if you're designing a solution for your own life. It could be your customer. You try to figure out what are their real needs here. What's the real problem? What's the important problem to be solved here? Mm. What's the right problem to be solved here? And then you define that. That's the next phase. Empathize, define. Get a little more clear about what that is or what the goal is. But again, it can be kind of vague still. And then you ideate. In other words, you come up with ideas. You brainstorm. Mm-hmm. What can we try? Then you prototype. You create a working prototype of that thing. If that's a product, it's a very simple rough draft, a shitty TikTok video. If it's for yourself, it could be like, oh, I want the habit of going to the gym 5 days a week, so I'm going to go for an hour at 7 a.m. every day. No, that's not a prototype. Prototype is, can you show up to the gym at 7 a.m. for 1 minute, Monday through Friday this week? That's a prototype. You can build on that. Mm-hmm. But maybe you can't do that. You can't get yourself to show up for 1 minute. And so maybe you do it 5 p.m. instead of 7 a.m. and that works better. And then you continue to iterate and improve on all of this, but with feedback. But these are nonlinear iterative phases. So they're not in order. Mm-hmm. You can go back, you can go different phases at different times because it's messy and organic. And I think that's how goals actually work. But one of the keys to all of that's a great idea in theory, but how do you actually do that? One of the keys to all of that is our relationship to failure.
All right, so as you can see, we were starting to get into fear of failure and how that can get in the way of our progress as we're making goals. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe so you can get the next video in the series.